Hey everybody, how's it going out there? That's Yolanda, and I hope you guys are doing well. Today we want to pick up in the book of Ruth. That was kind of where we were the last time we talked, and I rushed through it so quickly that I wasn't satisfied with it. So I'd like to go back and kind of delve into the book of Ruth because it's some good stuff, history stuff in there. Now, when I am studying the Bible versus just reading it, you kind of take a different approach. And the first thing I start doing is just kind of asking questions, right? And I'm thinking like, okay, so who is Ruth? What made Ruth special? Why was it necessary for God to develop a whole book, if you will, around this woman? What was it about her? Who was she that made her so special in the family of God? So the first thing we pull out of the book of Ruth, Ruth was a Moabitess woman. So she was from the people of Moab, right? And I don't know if you are familiar or not, but Moab was the son of Lot. And he was the son that Lot and his daughter made. Okay, so after Sodom and Gomorrah and everything went down, Lot's daughters got him intoxicated and laid with him, and both of them got pregnant. So Moab is the first son from the first daughter, excuse me. And so I'm thinking about this, so I'm trying to figure it all out. So initially, now I think, well, based on kind of how they were born, I think early on somewhere I read that, it was kind of a cursed nation. But as I'm studying it a little bit more, I find that, so although they are worshipers of false gods, the people of Moab, they kind of raised their daughters to entice, if you will, the Israelite men. So for some reason, it wasn't during the time that the famine was going on in the land, and what's her name? Naomi and Elimelech moved from Bethlehem. During that time, there was kind of a peace, I guess, if you will, with the Moabites. So they were okay. It was okay for an Israelite man to marry a Moabitess woman, which in this instance is what happened. And so now me again, I tend to ask this question a lot. What was it like for Ruth growing up? I wonder how long God had been preparing her, for this place in her life. Because obviously she grew up in a country and in a land amongst people who served false gods. But now, was she this young girl who kind of from a distance watched the news and, listened through the grapevine and watched as people pass through and fro the city or the town or what have you? Was she that girl who kind of like, dang, I like they God, or, what was it? Or did she just stay away? Was she scared of him? Did she honor him? Did she reverence him? I'm sure she knew about him. That was just the nature of the day. I mean, people knew about the people of God, right? Okay, so let's go on. And I shared with you about last time when Ruth was asking Naomi, please don't leave me. Let's stop there though and go, who is this Naomi? So as I'm reading about Naomi, I find that Naomi again is from now Bethlehem. And Naomi was, a righteous woman. She was like that wife, right? She trusted in the Lord, she believed in the Lord, and she lived that. And so when her sons married these women from Moab, I'm imagining she still yet lived that life of faith in God, belief in God before them, right? And so there had to have been some sort of influence for Ruth, and we're going to pick up the story of Ruth. So when Naomi got ready to go back, she said that she had heard that the Lord was blessing his people and was, giving them bread. So they had fled from the land because there was no food. But so now, so God is feeding the people in Judah. So I think I want to go back to Bethlehem. So, the one daughter-in-law, Orpah, and I mean, I ain't mad with her. A lot of people want to be down on Orpah, but I mean, hey, it was her right, and not everybody, can be a Ruth. So she wanted to be at home with her folks. She probably had her own sisters and stuff she wanted to hang out with, and you can't be mad with her for that. She had that option. But Ruth, on the other hand, decided, nah, man, look, I want to go over there. I like that God. I like it. It's apparent that whatever Naomi was living before them, it was something that Ruth wanted. It's something that she honored. And I think I was sharing with you guys the last time how that when back in that particular time, after the husband had died, the children were responsible. They inherited the responsibility of the mother. But now her sons had died too. So she didn't have any more children in essence. But Ruth became her daughter. And so Ruth took on the responsibility of taking care of her mother-in-law. And so, that's when Ruth asks her, please, you say, entreat me not, don't turn me away from following you. I want to go where you go. I want to sleep where you sleep. I want your people to be my people and your God to be my God. And wherever you die, I want to be buried there. Gosh, that's just, golly, that's so beautiful to me. And she says, and the Lord do so to me and even more, if anything but death parts you and me. I ain't going nowhere, Naomi. I ain't going nowhere. I'm here for the long haul, is what Ruth is saying. And so now I'm just kind of like thinking, these are just questions for me. I'm thinking, how pleased God must have been for her to accept that responsibility for her mother-in-law. And she's going to uproot and leave everything that she knows behind to follow this woman who is following the living God. And as we go on through the book of Ruth, we recognize how the Lord has favored her. And, she goes, they are going through some things. Now, we can't probably imagine when our covet now has given us an idea of what it's like to stop life as we know it. But back then, I lost my train of thought on that. I'm sorry. At any rate, having to uproot and go and be with her family, and the favor of the Lord is on her. So, I was saying that they were going through situations. They were, hungry, and these were two widows. So, life was a little hard back then because, that was the time when men took care of women back then. And so if you didn't have a man to take care of you in trouble. But God favored them both. He favored them both, and he put them in a position for Ruth, who was able to get out and work the fields. She took on the responsibility. She went, and God positioned Ruth in Boaz's field. And Boaz noticed her. And I love the way he says to her, okay, in chapter 2, verse 11, Boaz answered and said to her, "It has been fully reported to me all that you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, and how you have left your father and your mother in the land of your birth and have come to a people whom you did not know before. The Lord repay your work, and a full reward be given you by the Lord God of Israel, under whose wings you have come for refuge." Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That said a lot right there. That she had come under the Lord's wings for refuge. And I love the way him being such a man of God and a man of stature, how he recognized the humility and the loyalty of such a woman. And now I'm going to go out on a limb and say at the bottom of the totem pole. And all of the people that were in his field and all of the people that were in Bethlehem, and this woman comes and he takes notice of her. And not only does he take notice of her, but he respects her. Guys, that is so awesome. And I know, but I hate, going too far, and I'm going to have to stop and save that right there, because Ruth is only 4 chapters, but as we're talking about it, I'm finding that these 15-minute increments, there's a lot to be told in the books. So anyway, I'm going to stop right there, and I'm guessing we're just going to have a part 3 of a chatting in the book of Ruth. So we will get on that the next time. We will pick up right at chapter 2 after Boaz meets Ruth in the field. So thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you. I hope that you enjoyed the moment, the word. I hope it intrigues you to get in the word for yourself and start digging and finding some of the wonderful stories and the wonderful accounts of the goodness of God in those days, and how we can relate that to his goodness and his favor today. Love you guys, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.